Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Learn Medicinal Chemistry Online. I hope you all are doing good and I hope that you went through all the previous videos which was all about basics of medicinal chemistry, that is aromatic compounds and heterocyclic compounds. Now as I said that I will cover diuretic agents in my next video, but I am going to start with adrenergic system or sympathetic systems and drugs acting upon adrenergic system. Now rather than directly jumping on to the drugs which are acting on adrenergic system, let's see some basics of what is adrenergic system, or you can say sympathetic system. So friends, as you all are aware that central nervous system is very important part of body which is responsible for integration, processing of sensory signals and giving motor commands. Okay, so it is responsible for processing of sensory signal as well as giving motor commands. Now it has one integral part, that is peripheral nervous system, okay, which is responsible for communication between brain and rest of the body. Okay, peripheral nervous system is responsible for communication. There has to be some communication between the brain and rest of the body, so PNS does that. Now it has two division, one is sensory division, one is motor division. Sensory division conducts signals from rest of the body to brain, that is peripheral to brain, while motor division conducts signals from brain to rest of the body. Okay, now focus on this motor division, which is again divided into two parts, autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is also called as involuntary and somatic nervous system is also called as voluntary. Why involuntary? Because the body does not have its own you don't have your control on that system. It will happen automatically. While somatic nervous system, it is voluntary, means you have some control over it. Autonomic system involves cardiac muscles, smooth muscles as well as glands, while somatic nervous system involves regulation of skeletal muscles. Now come to our topic, autonomic nervous system. It is again divided into two parts, parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system is also called as cholinergic system, while sympathetic nervous system is also called as adrenergic system. Why? Because of its neurotransmitter that we are going to see later. It is also called as parasympathetic nervous system is also called as rest and digest system, while sympathetic nervous system is also called as flight or fight system. Now why this parasympathetic is called as rest and digest? Because the basic motto of this system is to conserve energy, while that of sympathetic system, it is to utilize energy. Now it is very interesting, it has very interesting term, flight or fight means lado ya bhag ja, because when this sympathetic nervous system is activated, you can see the body can see the changes like increase in blood pressure, increase in heart rate, increase in force of contraction of cardiac muscles, dilation of pupils, dilation of various glands, increase in glucose levels. So all these symptoms we can see when a person is either angry or scared. Okay, so come to the today's topic, that is adrenergic system, which is also called as sympathetic system. It is also called as adrenergic because the sympathetic nervous system works by two neurotransmitter, adrenaline and noradrenaline. So that's why the term adrenergic is there. See, adrenaline, because of adrenaline the term is adrenergic. They are neurotransmitter of sympathetic nervous system. Now the question is, what is neurotransmitter? Neurotransmitters, first of all, they are made up of amino acids, proteins, and proteins are made up of amino acids, so ultimately they are made up of amino acids that enables the neurotransmission, or you can say which transmits the signal from nerve cell to target cell. So these are chemical messenger which will transmit the signal between nerve cell and target cell. If you can see, I have shown the diagram also. This is a nerve cell and this is a target cell, and in between the communication is happening via neurotransmitter, and the neurotransmitter for sympathetic system is adrenaline. Okay, so let's see the structure of adrenaline and noradrenaline. Noradrenaline is also called as norepinephrine, while adrenaline is also called as epinephrine. Okay, let's see the structure. What is this? It's catechol. As I've explained in my first video, basic aromatic moiety is catechol, ethyl amine. Okay, catechol, can you see this? benzene moiety, 1 OH, benzene moiety is present. OH adjacent to each other is called as catechol. Then there is ethanol. Two carbons containing hydroxyl group is ethanol, and this one is amine. So these are catechol amines. And what is the nature of this amino group? It is primary in nature. Primary amino group. Now what do you mean by primary amino group? Amine group where nitrogen is attached to only one carbon. So can you see this nitrogen is attached to only one carbon, that is alpha carbon. Now come to alpha carbon. Alpha carbon is the one which is attached to the functional group. Now here the functional group is amine. So the carbon next to amine group is alpha, and the carbon next to alpha carbon is beta, and which has OH group. So isn't the structure easy? You draw catechol, then you draw ethanol and amine. The structure is of noradrenaline or norepinephrine. Next is the structure of adrenaline or epinephrine. The only difference you can see here is here. Instead of primary amine, we have replaced one hydrogen with CH3 group, and that's why this become secondary amine, because this nitrogen is attached to 1 and 2 carbon. So secondary amine, adrenaline or epinephrine. Rest of the structure is same. Okay, alpha carbon, beta carbon. So clear everyone? These are called as catecholamines. You know the reason why? Because they have catechol, and they have amine. So catecholamines. Now how adrenergic system works basically. So these are adrenergic neurons, and this is a nerve ending. See, nerve ending, from where what is releasing? Noradrenaline or norepinephrine. These are synonyms, guys. Noradrenaline also called as norepinephrine, remember. Now these noradrenaline or norepinephrine will bind with the adrenergic receptor which are present on target cells, that is alpha or beta. Can you see? Alpha or beta. So from adrenergic neurons, noradrenaline or norepinephrine will release, and it will bind with the adrenergic receptor present on target cells, which will lead to conformational change in the receptor, which will lead to desired physiological actions. Okay, so for the receptor to work properly, to show its desired pharmacological action, the neurotransmitter or the ligand must get attached to the receptor. So here the neurotransmitter or the ligand is noradrenaline or norepinephrine. Okay, now we have seen what is adrenergic system, we have seen what is neurotransmitter, we have seen what are the two neurotransmitters of adrenergic system, and we have also seen how they work. Now let's see what are adrenergic drugs, which is actual topic. These are the molecules which are going to act on either the adrenergic receptors as agonist or antagonist, which we will see in detail later, or which will interfere in its biosynthesis, storage, release or metabolism. So guys, these are the molecules. Adrenergic drugs means they are molecules, right? They are drug molecules. Okay, so as I was saying, these are either the molecules which bind on adrenergic receptors and act as agonist or antagonist, or which will interfere in its biosynthesis, storage, release or metabolism. So now in conclusion, I can say that we must understand the biosynthesis, storage, release and metabolism of noradrenaline or adrenaline in order to understand the drugs. So again, before jumping to the drugs, let's see how this adrenaline and noradrenaline is produced in the body. Okay, so this is the biosynthesis of noradrenaline. First of all, I'm going to show you the chemical diagram, that is how the actual chemical reaction occurs, and then I'm going to show the figure wise how it occurs in presynaptic neuron and all that. Okay, so let's see this in detail. The substrate from where noradrenaline is generated is L-tyrosine, that is amino acid, as I said it. Okay, so this is the structure of L-tyrosine. Why it is called as amino acid? Because it has amino group and it has NH2 group. Can you see? Okay, and the configuration is L. The configuration is L, so that's why the name is capital L, tyrosine. Now on this, there is one enzyme which is going to act, that is tyrosine hydroxylase. Now what do you mean by tyrosine hydroxylase? It is going to introduce which group? OH group onto tyrosine. So can you see the next structure? On third position, that is here, OH group is attached. See, the rest structure is same. So it is done by tyrosine hydroxylase. Now this enzyme is very important because it is the rate limiting step. Whenever any enzymatic reaction occurs, there is one rate limiting step always. So here the rate limiting step is tyrosine hydroxylase, and it is inhibited by feedback inhibition, which we are going to see later. So this will convert L-tyrosine to L-dopa, which is 3,4-dihydroxyphenylalanine. Can you see this? Numbering will start from 1, 2, 3. So here 3, 4 dihydroxy, because 2 hydroxyl group are there, phenylalanine. The structure is of alanine. If you know amino acids, then you will be able to correlate. That is L-dopa. Now on this L-dopa, aromatic amino acid dopa decarboxylase is going to act. Okay, dopa decarboxylase. What do you mean by decarboxylase? Enzyme. Whenever something ends with ASE, it means it is an enzyme. So this enzyme is going to remove carboxyl group, that is CO2, as carbon dioxide gas. Okay, because of dopa decarboxylase enzyme, this group will be removed as CO2, and this hydrogen will be attached here on alpha carbon. See, for earlier there was only one hydrogen on alpha carbon. Now you can see there are two hydrogens, and the structure is of dopamine. So CO2 is removed, rest of the structure is same. We can see the catechol here. Catechol is there, beta carbon is as such, alpha carbon, CH2 and amine. Now this is dopamine, which is the first neurotransmitter. First neurotransmitter in this case is dopamine. Now on this, next going to act is dopamine hydroxylase. Okay, now it is going to introduce, again I am saying, just like tyrosine hydroxylase, this enzyme is going to introduce OH group on beta carbon. So next, see this. Instead of CH2, this is CHOH. So this enzyme has introduced this OH group in terms of R configuration, which gives us norepinephrine or noradrenaline. Second neurotransmitter. First was dopamine, second is norepinephrine, noradrenaline, because of this enzyme, dopamine hydroxylase. Next enzyme which is going to act here is N-methyltransferase. See this, now focus on this amino group. Okay, N-methyl means methyl group is going to be transferred to nitrogen. Can you see this? Methyl group. So this is, the rest of the structure is same. See, a catechol is there, ethanol is there, and NH2, instead of NH2, NHCH3. So this is epinephrine or adrenaline. So what we have done, we have introduced one methyl group. So guys, this is how the entire biosynthesis of noradrenaline and adrenaline occurs. Okay, first of all L-tyrosine, then tyrosine hydroxylase, then L-dopa, then dopa decarboxylase, then dopamine, then dopamine hydroxylase, norepinephrine, N-methyltransferase, epinephrine. Do not mug the structures. You do not have to remember the structure. Try to understand the structure. Okay. In tyrosine there is phenol group and remaining structure is of alanine. Okay. In next case, just add OH group. Rest of the structure is same. In next case, just remove the COH. Remaining structure is same, and try to balance the valency, which gives you dopamine. In next, just add OH on beta carbon. In last, just add CH3 on nitrogen. So you have to remember the structure of basic alanine. Then you will be able to remember. Okay. Okay. So now we have seen the chemical synthesis in detail. Now we'll see the diagrammatic representation of how this biosynthesis storage release occurs. So as we have seen earlier, first one is tyrosine. From tyrosine, what will happen? What will we get? L-DOPA, that is 3,4-dihydroxyphenylalanine, with the help of enzyme TH, that is tyrosine hydroxylase. So this tyrosine, where it is coming from? It is coming from outside, and it is coming from liver actually, via active transport mechanism, via this transporter. So this tyrosine is coming inside. This is a, what is this? This is presynaptic nerve cell, and this is target cell, and this is synaptic cleft. So in presynaptic nerve cell, tyrosine will come via active transport mechanism, and it is going to get converted to L-DOPA with the presence of enzyme tyrosine hydroxylase. This step is rate limiting step because it is inhibited by feedback inhibition. As I've said it, see, feedback inhibition. So this is nothing but feedback inhibition, means when enough quantity of noradrenaline and adrenaline is present in the synaptic cleft, they will give signal to tyrosine hydroxylase that bhaiya ruk jao abhi, stop. Okay, we are produced in enough quantity. So the concentration of adrenaline, noradrenaline will inhibit this enzyme. That mechanism is called as feedback inhibition. If it will keep on producing noradrenaline, adrenaline, then there will be abundant of physiological actions, and which will lead to undesired pharmacological action. Okay, so as I was saying, tyrosine is coming via active transport mechanism, converted to L-DOPA via tyrosine hydroxylase. This enzyme is inhibited by feedback inhibition, that is sufficient concentration of noradrenaline or adrenaline is present when it is produced in synaptic cleft. They will inhibit this enzyme via feedback inhibition, that we are producing sufficient quantity. Now please stop the production. Okay, now again on this DOPA decarboxylase will act. Now we have seen all this. Please try to correlate this reaction over here. See, I cannot show the reaction due to lack of space, so I have shown it earlier separately. Now this L-DOPA is converted to DOPA decarboxylase, which will form dopamine. Okay, now until now all this is happening in the cytoplasm. Now this dopamine will go to storage vesicle. This is called as storage vesicle. Okay, this is called as storage vesicle. Dopamine will come in storage vesicle via important transporter VMAT. And under storage vesicle, dopamine will be converted to noradrenaline or norepinephrine. When I say or, it is English wala or, okay, via enzyme dopamine hydroxylase. Again, we've seen this. Dopamine hydroxylase will give us noradrenaline or norepinephrine. Now this noradrenaline or norepinephrine is stored in the storage vesicle with ATP, 1 molecule of noradrenaline with 4 molecules of ATP. That's how it is stored in the storage vesicle, that is this area. Until now it is stored in the storage vesicle. Now when it will release, when the action potential will come to this presynaptic neuron, that the signal will come. The signal will open the voltage gated calcium ion channel, which will lead to influx of calcium. More and more calcium will come inside this presynaptic neuron, which will lead to depolarization of this presynaptic neuron, which will lead to release of noradrenaline. So noradrenaline will release here in the synaptic cleft because of this action potential. Action potential means nothing but signal. This signal will open calcium, and calcium influx will lead to depolarization of this nerve cell, which will lead to opening of the storage vesicle and release of noradrenaline in the synaptic cleft. Now what will happen to this noradrenaline when it is in the synaptic cleft? 3 mechanisms can happen. First one, it can go back to the presynaptic neuron via transporter norepinephrine transporter. This is called as uptake 1. Can you see this? This mechanism is called as uptake 1. When this noradrenaline will go back to presynaptic neuron via norepinephrine transporter, it's called as uptake 1. Second, the released noradrenaline or norepinephrine can bind with its own receptor, which is present on presynaptic neuron only, alpha 2 receptor. Okay, either it can go back to presynaptic neuron via NET, that is norepinephrine transporter, or it can bind with alpha 2 receptor present on the presynaptic nerve, or it can get metabolized by MAO and CUMT, that is monoamino oxidase or catechol O-methyl transferase. Okay, it can be which we are going to see in detail later. Monoamino oxidase or catechol O-methyl transferase. Remember guys, MAO means monoamino oxidase, CUMT means catechol O-methyl transferase. Okay, we are going to see that later. These two enzymes are responsible for metabolism of noradrenaline. Or third step which can occur, third scenario can be, it can actually bind with the receptors. Here alpha 1, beta 1, beta 2, and these receptors are present on the target cells. So three scenarios can happen. First, it can bind, it can go back to presynaptic neuron via NET, norepinephrine transporter, or it can bind with presynaptic neuron receptor alpha 2 receptors, which are adrenergic receptors, or it can get metabolized by a monoamino oxidase or CUMT, or it can bind with alpha 1, beta 2 receptor present on the target cells. Okay guys, so I guess this is enough for today. I hope you like my video, and if you like it, please share and subscribe, and I'll be posting more and more videos very soon. So stay connected. Bye bye guys.